Hi, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to another show with Latin Explaining with Denise. My name is Denise Gonzalez. For those who do not know me, for those who do, welcome once again to my YouTube channel. I see that Smoothie, Blood Moon, Morena, Michael are here. Welcome, guys. Also, Risa Realm is here. Thank you for tuning in. Today, we have a very how can I say it? A very complicated topic to unpack. Um, I'm pretty sure you guys have heard about this before. I have spoken briefly about this before, but today we're going to go in deeper into this topic, and that topic is Lin Manuel Miranda. However, before we start today's show, I want you guys, if you have not done so, like and subscribe to my channel. Also, hit that bell for notifications so that you don't miss any of our shows. Without any further ado, let's start today's show.
Take it to the next level.
And today, before we get to the main topic, I have some news. And God, what news I'm bringing you guys. For those who have not heard what has been happening here in the United States regarding Texas, I'm going to share something with you guys about what is going on. Let me reshare this here. Give me 1 second, guys. But to briefly tell you guys what's going on, Governor Abbott, the governor of Texas, made some announcement today regarding the Mexican community, and this is what he said.
Building the wall in Texas has officially begun.
La construcción del muro de Texas ha comenzado oficialmente, dijo él mientras mostraba el documento firmado. El primer paso será conseguir a la persona indicada para liderar el proyecto, o sea, el director del muro. Y el programa ha sido ya oficialmente financiado con un pago inicial de 250 millones que han sido destinados para la declaración de desastre, y es así como lo están llamando, zona de desastre en los condados de la zona fronteriza que, según el gobernador Abbott, son los que le pidieron ayuda. En esencia, las autoridades de Texas argumentan que, y cito, estamos siendo invadidos. Hicieron alusión a los criminales de la MS-13 y cómo los nuevos inmigrantes están pasando a formar parte de las filas de esos criminales y pandilleros. También hablaron de la cantidad de drogas que está entrando y habló de fentanil específicamente como amenaza de muerte para más de 20 millones de estadounidenses. Y mencionó cómo esos traficantes de drogas y de seres humanos están aprovechando de la política de fronteras abiertas de la administración Biden. También dijo cómo la Florida y otros estados estarán enviando agentes para asistir en los arrestos de personas que entran ilegalmente, y finalmente dijo que cualquiera que califique todo esto como política no tiene idea de lo que está hablando y que no le importan los peligros que esa gente, o sea, los inmigrantes indocumentados, representan para los ciudadanos de Texas. Lo que está por verse ahora, Michelle, porque también se está hablando que esto va a ser bastante costoso, es que podría ser unos $1,000 millones que saldrán de los bolsillos de los contribuyentes de ese estado.
Now, I don't know. I know there's some people here that do not speak Spanish. Basically, Governor Abbott today was saying that, unfortunately, according to them, okay, I'm not by any chance, I'm not in Texas. I don't know if this is true, but according to him, there's a lot of citizens of Texas that have been complaining about the border that allows people from Mexico to come in, and they're blaming MS-13 and drug traffickers that are actually coming in and threatening their neighborhoods. Therefore, Governor Abbott approved today that officially the building of a wall in Texas, it's going to begin with $200 million put into it. They're just looking for a leader that will direct the building of the wall, somebody that obviously is not Latino, so that, you know, let me just keep my comments to myself. But Basically, they started building a wall in Texas so that they can control the border with Mexico, because there's a lot of fentanyl being pushed in, a lot of drugs being pushed in, a lot of people that are enjoying their homes, and all of a sudden criminals come in from the border. That's what they allege, right? Allegedly, some people come into their communities and start doing some crazy stuff. And the cost of this wall will be approximately $1.1 billion that will come out of the pockets of the citizens of Texas. Obviously, that's going to raise taxes. Smoothie asks, does a wall really cost that much? You know what? I have thought about it. And to be honest with you, I know the cost of steel is 2,000 per rod, of course. So I honestly do not know if it's that much, but I'm guessing, yeah, for sure. Because if you think about it, if every single one of those bars of steel is $2,000, that's probably like a 2 ton steel bar, and each one is $2,000 plus the people that will be working on it, plus the machinery. You know, we're in the United States, things are a little bit more expensive here. So I see that Morena says Texas border is huge. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Texas border, the Texas borders is really big. So, you know, but $1 billion, yeah, it makes you question if that money is really going into that. Um, I saw that music only is saying, I don't care about complaining people. The movie was good. Music only. I have not started talking about Lin Manuel. I'm not talking necessarily about the movie. I don't know if you read the description box, but I will redirect you over there so you can know what we're talking about regarding Lin Manuel. Um, yeah, Smoothie says that's true, Maureen, and yeah, I guess that makes sense, Denise. Yeah, for sure. And you know how these people will even inflate stuff just to make money out of the whole situation. Now I don't know how true this might be. I don't know how false it is. But to be honest with you, in case it is true, I support them in the wall. And even if it's not, I still support them in the wall to a degree because hey, every country, if you think about it, has some border patrol to a degree. However, you know, I don't support deportation. You guys know this, and I believe in open borders. Now, I don't believe in you know, importing criminals from other places if they are also coming here from other countries. I support that immigrants come here, but not the criminal party. They can stay where they are. Now, on other news, regarding also Mexico, Mexico made news today. One for not such a good thing, and the other one for something really good. And that is that actually Germany returned voluntarily 34 archaeological pieces that they were holding that belonged to Mexico. And those pieces, they had vases, they had stamps, masks. Some of them were fragments, some of them were whole. And to be honest with you, I have followed this for a while now, but I remember that not too long ago in New York, there was an auction selling some of the Olmecs, Mayans, and indigenous tribal pieces from Mexico in an auction that made almost $3 million. Also in France, there was another one recently too that Mexico tried to reach out to them and say, "Hey, voluntarily, can you just return the pieces that belong to us?" And they refused and continue with the auction. So for Germany to actually return these pieces to Mexico is a huge win because I believe Mexico has recovered close to 6,000 pieces of their indigenous culture, their pre-Hispanic colonization. So that's a big win for Mexico. Also, they have returned to Peru, to the Incas, some of their pieces as well voluntarily. I see that Brotep is here. I'm gonna add him right on. Brotep, what? How it's going? How are you?
Oh, it's going great, going great, going great. I didn't, I forgot that you were gonna come on, and so I was gonna step out for some food, but then I saw you were on, so I thought I'd stop by real quick.
Sure, sure. I'm just in the news right now.
Good.
Sharing some news about how Germany voluntarily returned some pieces that belong to pre-Hispanic colonization era of Mexico.
This is
Uh,
fantastic.
it is fantastic. I'm excited about it. I'm excited that, the Mexican government decided to reach out and got some results, even though France and New York refused to help them and still auctioned their pieces. But
Yeah,
Germany responded and actually returned them. So that's pretty
good.
dope.
Good on them. And
Yes.
I want to cover this. See, I always it's always a win coming on your platform. Now I have another one because I do many streams per day.
Hmm.
Now I think I'm going to cover this on a stream coming up today. This is
Definitely.
fantastic news because after Black Panther, remember the scene in Black Panther when T'Challa, not T'Challa, when Killmonger was taking the vibranium at the museum, and then the
Yeah.
lady, the museum had all these artifacts that they stolen from Africa. And then after that scene in the film, it came out on in the news cycles that many
Give me
people
one
were.
second. Give me
I'm
one
sorry,
second,
guys.
brother.
Yeah, no
Continue.
problem,
You
no
can
problem.
continue.
Okay,
Continue. I'll be back right.
yeah,
I'll be right back.
okay, no, okay, no problem. It came out for anyone listening. It came out in the news cycle after after the scene in Black Panther where Killmonger was basically schooling the curator of the museum after she's like, this is from the Benin tribe and blah 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 blah. And Killmonger's like, okay, well, how about this one? Where's it from? And she's like, well, that's from the Togo tribe, I believe. He's like, no, 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 no. It's from Wakanda. Don't worry, I'm gonna take it off your hands for you. And then she's like, these are not for sale. It's not for sale. And he's like, how do you think your ancestors got these? You think they paid a fair price? Right? After that scene, all these groups came out and they said, wait a minute, we weren't thinking about this before, but now we're thinking about it after seeing this. You have all these things in your museums, all in the UK and London, France, all these different places. How about, because these tribes haven't disappeared, how about you return them from whence they came?
Yeah.
Return from whence they came. I'm very happy that this is happening with Mexico. This is not just a win for Mexico. This is a win for Native people everywhere because what it is, it sets a precedent. It's a precedent because when this happens in Mexico, how about Uruguay, Paraguay, right?
Yeah.
Nicaragua. All these places had Native people whose art and riches and even their corpses were plundered by these colonial powers. How would
Definitely.
these people feel, like the Queen of England or the previous queens of England, where they're buried, right? If some years from now we come over, then we excavate. Yeah, we're excavating. We're finding. No, no, you're grave robbing. You're taking the corpse of the queen and then putting it in your museum somewhere. How would they
Definitely.
feel about that, right? So
Yeah.
this is a big win. This is a big
It
win for
is. It is.
Mexico and for Latinos everywhere.
Of
This can
course.
happen. This can happen for you as well. If they respect your past, believe you me, it's a precedent for respecting your future. So the carry turtles, this peripherally bears good news for the carry turtles. I think you know what. Let me not hijack with my rant. With my rant, let me not. But this is great. I love it.
Sure, me
But go
too.
ahead.
Me too. I have one more piece of news, and I know I usually don't bring anybody before I go to the main topic, but I had to
Mhm.
bring you on because I know you will be excited about this news. Now, something else that I want to share is before we get into the main topic, it's some news of some development. You guys know that I cover all things Eliaser Molina. And today, the mayor of Rincon actually reached out to him. Today was the first hearing for his 14-year sentence case that they want to put
Wow.
on him. And the mayor of Rincon actually said that he will support him and they'll be there in court to back him up. But they're also giving 5 days to the construction site to actually either stop construction or he will send his employees to tear down the fence that's protecting
Good.
the construction site. So
Good.
they have 5 days to comply. So for everybody that follows um, everything, Eliezer Molina, just like I do, just know that things are getting done. Many things are changing. He was
Good.
making noise. Of course, it took him a lot of time because, of course, he's just a regular person, a regular agriculture. Um, so, like I said, it's a
Good.
win
Good.
for many places in Latin America today. It's an excellent Thursday. We
Well,
woke up to amazing
let's not
news
let's not
today.
let's not throw in the confetti. Let's not start throwing the
No,
confetti
not
just
yet,
yet.
not yet.
You know what I'm
But
saying?
it's a good sign
Yeah, it's a
to
good
a
start.
path
A good
to a
start. Yeah.
path that we must follow. This is
Yes.
what we mean by making noise. The more you
Yep.
become an inconvenience for these high powers, the better the results will be.
And
So
embarrass them, yell about it. What are you doing? It's one of the
yes,
things that in self-defense classes, what our sifu, our kung fu teacher, was teaching women was like, you don't stand there. It's not a Charlie's Angels movie. You're not going to sit there and straight blows with your abductor. What you need to do is make as much noise as possible. It's the same thing here. If there was no noise, if you didn't make any noise about this, and you weren't part of the chorus chanting like "this isn't fair," they would not do this. They would
definitely,
not do this.
definitely. Now,
And
before
fuck
and
that guy. Go like infinity pool. Why don't you take a bath in a tub like everyone else?
yeah, fuck you.
Fuck.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, before we continue, and we are
That was
back.
dope. That was dope.
We are back with the main topic. And I'm sorry, today is going to be a day of a lot of profanities on my end. So I apologize to anybody that, it's sensitive about profanities. I apologize in advance. You guys know I try to keep them at a very minimum. But today, whew, fuck Lin Manuel Miranda. Okay. I do not care. I do not care about his stupid ass movie. I watch it. I loved it. Yeah, some parts were irritating. I'm not going to lie. He did dirty the Dominican actors, the Dominican heritage by putting Puerto Ricans in there. I don't think that was our place. I think we were overstepping over Dominicans, and he should have opened doors for our people by placing Dominicans into it. Now,
Yep.
my problem with Lin Manuel is way far from In the Heights. In the Heights, of course, we all feel uncomfortable about it. Yes, we would have loved to see Dominicans actually participate in it. Of course, we we will have probably have more representation if a white person would have done it. Let's just call it what it is. Now, back to what I was saying, I still enjoyed the movie. I see that Desdar said that he, as a dark skinned black guy, I really enjoy In the Heights. I get critiques, but IMO is downplaying all the good. Lin Manuel Miranda has done so much for diversity in theater scene in the 16 years. I disagree with you on that one, and I'm going to start with that. Oh my god, I don't know how many of you guys have saw Hamilton. Hamilton basically replaces people like George Washington or other slavers with people of color to make it seem more relatable and more like a joyous situation, and actually to basically criticize the colonized individual and say that basically we invite colonization by living in this colonial mindset. So no, he has done shit for the diversity in the theater in the last 16 years. Now, there's a reason why, you know, I would like to bring the case of Lin Manuel Miranda. And like I said, I apologize to everybody. I'm not trying to come for you. Um, but I'm going to say something that a lot of people are refusing to say, probably because they like to be politically correct. But man, if you're a diaspora from Puerto Rico, don't fuck with our future. It's better to ask questions. Ask us about, what's going on, what you can do to help. Because stupid shit like this can fuck us up. And that's what Lin Manuel did. Let's not forget that Lin Manuel Miranda, unfortunately, right, was heard by high powers when it came to the situation of Puerto Rico. In 2016, Lin Manuel Miranda openly supported, along with his dad, that was actually profiting through the Mirram group, which is a group that basically represents people like Hillary Clinton and George Schumer and stuff like that. And people like that, I'm sorry, not stuff, but people like that to actually manage their campaigns. So they decided to go around the block and start going to every mainstream media outlet and start asking for debt relief and what they believe it was good for the people of Puerto Rico. Now, I want to know who the fuck in Puerto Rico they asked that we wanted the ley promesa. The ley promesa basically is the oversight board that actually is not elected by the people of Puerto Rico, but is making the people of Puerto Rico leave. Why? I'll tell you why. Let me share something with you guys so you guys can know what I'm talking about. That's what I said. Lin Manuel Miranda and his movie, I could literally care less. I'm going to say something that might come off as whatever, but I really do not care. But this is my problem with people that are Hispanistas. Many of you guys know that Lin Manuel Miranda and his father are both Hispanistas. Now, this is the problem that I'm talking about. And I hope that people take Puerto Rico and what we're going through if we survive it, because I honestly, I'm losing hope every day. But to be honest with you, if we survive it, I hope that you guys understand what Hispanistas are, what they believe in, and that they only think of self. Therefore, they will sell you and your country to make themselves more profitable. So let's go into this document that I found on the internet, and it says a breakdown of the controversy surrounding Lin Manuel Miranda and Hamilton in Puerto Rico. It says this weekend, Hamilton will make its Puerto Rico debut. Creator Lin Manuel Miranda will reprise the Broadway show's namesake role during a nearly 3-week run. Along with the award winning production, Miranda also brings major fundraising, with some ticket sales benefits his flamboyant foundation. Now I'm gonna stop right here. The Flamboyant Foundation, it was a foundation that, I don't know if you guys watched me talking about the double standard of the judicial system. The lady that was the secretary of the Department of Education, Julia Kelleher, founded the Flamboyant Foundation. And you guys know that she's facing federal charges for corruption because she closed 600 schools for personal profit, and also embezzled 52 millions from the education of her children in Puerto Rico for her own gain. So that's the foundation that Lin Manuel Miranda is benefiting with his run of Hamilton in Puerto Rico. Now, I want to go a little bit down uh, on why people, actually do not like Lin Manuel Miranda in Puerto Rico. And he has said many things. And it says, born in New York to Puerto Rican parents, Miranda vacationed on the island for months during most of his childhood summers. Throughout his career, he has advocated for Puerto Rico, both before and after Hurricane Maria. There are many Boricuas, however, who believe his efforts are misguided, myself included. Miranda's very public support of the Puerto Rico Oversight Management Economic Stability Act, PROMESA, the 2016 federal law touted as a means of debt relief, which brought with it a fiscal oversight board comprised of 7 U.S. appointed, therefore not elected by Puerto Ricans, members that since its implementation had issued budget reducing austerity measures, figures heavily in the opposition's complaint. Under mandate by La Junta, as the board is called locally in Puerto Rico and throughout the diaspora, the Puerto Rican government has implemented labor reform, limiting sick and vacation days, overtime pay, and holiday bonuses. The island's electrical authority is on its way to privatization, some 200, and it's not 200. We calculated last week that it was 673 public schools have closed down. And the University of Puerto Rico is seeing also cuts. But let's rewind a bit. In order to understand the opposition, there's a lot to unpack. The show's well publicized venue change, announced only weeks ahead of opening night, is an important event to explore. Basically, what they're going to explain here is how people in the University of Puerto Rico, because of his support of La Junta, and now we have seen hundreds and tens of thousands of students in the University of Puerto Rico and the different campuses that they have having to drop out of school because La Junta cut so much of their budget that they can no longer afford college. So, of course, you and me know that they were going to protest Hamilton being displayed in their university. And also, let's not forget that out of the budget of the University of Puerto Rico, Lin Manuel Miranda wanted the theater to look decent, so they had to repaint it. They cut trees that were over 100 years old, and they did a lot of different constructions to make the theater look a specific way so that Hamilton will be displayed in this theater that the University of Puerto Rico had. So basically, regarding the Hamilton run, which I really do not care, but I understand what's happening. There's a lot of people that had some sentiments, but one of the sentiments that I love was the one of Celeste Sanchez. She's the president of the Consejo of Humanities, the Humanities Council in the University of Puerto Rico, and she was against the show. And she made some, you know, comments about it. She says, knowing full well that the United States has been Puerto Rico's oppressor for more than 100 years, she says, and taking into consideration that a lot of the founding fathers were people that owned slaves, people that mistreated Black people, people that mistreated Native Americans and women and all sorts of minorities, and then trying to give them a minority makeover, a people of color makeover, if you will, to try to make them more appealing to another generation. To me, that's deeply insulting. If you guys know, in case you did not watch Hamilton, basically he's making fathers look like people of color to actually relate, be more relatable to people, and he profit off of that as well. So those were the critics that he received from this you know play. And now, the whole thing going on with In the Heights and whatnot. But in my opinion, the biggest problem that um Lin Manuel Miranda has, it's far more beyond this whole Hamilton and freaking In the Heights. Um, Now, I want to point out this specifically. It says, coincidentally, Hamilton in Puerto Rico is sponsored in part by Banco Popular, the island's primary banking institution. Independent investigators have questioned the bank's role in its government's 70 billion plus debt. So, do you guys remember the saying that says follow the money?
Yep.
This is not a coincidence. All of
Hmm.
the things point out to Lin Manuel Miranda. And let's not forget that he went from having 100 in the hundreds net worth to 80 million net worth today. Um, it says Miranda's PROMESA lobbying is another point of contention for students at the university, which has been stretched thin financially for nearly a decade. Having denied two fiscal plans for the university itself, La Junta certified its own last October, which conforms to its continued reductions that by 2023 will equate to a 10% drop in this total budget. Tuition and fees have gone up, and cuts are scheduled for more incremental spikes each semester. Sanchez says friends from poor backgrounds have dropped out of school because of the cost. Do you know the amount of friends that I know from poor backgrounds that have to drop out of university because they cannot afford it? And people are tired. They're emotionally and physically exhausted from the hurricane and the strike, and they can't do it, she says. Now, Lin Manuel Miranda, in its attempt to actually pretend that he's doing something, he tweeted something in 2017. I was vocal about debt relief for Puerto Rico. What emerged was PROMESA, and I think we agree no one is feeling relief. Now, that's the only expression that we have had from Lin Manuel Miranda when it comes to La Junta. Let's not forget that he was very vocal. I'm telling you, he went everywhere saying, hey, this is something that is not perfect, but is the best choice. When in reality, the best choice was a chapter 9. If Lin Manuel Miranda actually wanted to help Puerto Rico, he would have pushed for a chapter 9, just like the state of Florida had one. But he advocated for a dictatorship that's now making even people that are under 25 years old get paid $4.50 an hour. That's what
Jesus
the
Christ.
PROMESA is doing to Puerto Ricans. That's why you guys are seeing a spike in Puerto Rican youth moving out of the state, like myself, because we can no longer afford to live in our island. Now, let's not forget that Lin Manuel Miranda's father is involved in politics, and he also profited from lobbying uh, in favor of the oversight board. He also got paid for doing so. And there's more stuff that I will unpack on another show because trust me, this is another whole show. But I don't know if you guys remember that also Pedro Pierluisi's wife actually represented people that were spreading secrets in the Wall Street, and also other people that own firms that profited and also bought into the $5 billion debt that Puerto Rico had, inflated it, and then it turned into a $128 billion of debt today. So, like I said, this is a lot to unpack with Lin Manuel Miranda. And to be honest with you, In the Heights is the least of the problems that this man has brought to Puerto Rico. Now, as if that wasn't enough of fucking up our island as an Hispanista, Lin Manuel Miranda does it again. What he has done, I'm going to read about this. Celeste also said he still hasn't spoken against the junta or the austerity measures they're imposing on us, and that is very hypocritical of him. If he wants to help, he can use his voice to speak against la junta, which is precisely one of the obstacles in the recuperation of Puerto Rico post Maria. I'm sorry. Not everyone in the island is against Hamilton, of course. A few days after the venue was changed, student leaders from all 11 university campuses published a press release asking that Miranda and Hamilton producers reconsider the relocation. But there are other factors still that have earned Miranda's criticism on the island. His other endeavors on the island, namely his involvement with the Hispanic Federation's effort to rebuild its coffee industry. Now, the Hispanic Federation is basically a federation that Lin Manuel Miranda's father founded in New York and started reaching out to Latinos, fundraisers, and to Latino nonprofits to actually join him. Some did, some didn't, because of this Hispanic or pro Hispanic mentality. Now, the Hispanic Federation that Lin Manuel Miranda's father founded is trying to quote unquote rebuild in the Hispanic way the coffee industry in Puerto Rico that was destroyed with Hurricane Maria. Now, she said it doesn't sit well with everyone. Shakur, for one, says he's coming to introduce Monsanto. Do you guys remember when I spoke about Monsanto and the chemicals that Monsanto
Oh boy.
it Monsanto seeds, which are genetically modified and proven to damage the soil? Starbucks, Nespresso, and the Rockefeller Foundation are also part of the 5-year project, which does include climate resistant seeds. But so far, there's no evident link to Monsanto, whose heavy presence on the island is highly contested by many. According to the Hispanic Federation, Lin Manuel Miranda's father's federation, it's a smallholder coffee farmers they aim to uplift. Now, I want to show it because there's so much shit here, to be honest with you, that I don't think we will have the time to actually, you know, going to continue. I see that Jorge is saying it wasn't Banco Popular that screwed Puerto Rico, it was the Santander Bank. Let me tell you something, Jorge. This is a proof of what I'm saying today with our diaspora. I banked with Banco Popular and Banco Santander since I was 16 years old, because I used to bank with them since I was 9 years old with the Populoso account that my parents opened for me so that I could save as a child. But I did not manage that. So I did not know what the Banco Popular was doing. Now, if you go and ask any Puerto Rican today if Banco Popular screwed Puerto Rico or Banco Santander did, let me tell you something. More of the Puerto Rican population would tell you, like Tito Trinidad, for example, that was stripped of his fortune after fighting his whole life as a professional boxer by Banco Popular. He was stripped of $60 million and is still fighting this in court. So, no, Banco Santander did not screw Puerto Ricans, it was Banco Popular. So, back to what I was saying. I'm sorry for the ranting, but um this is why I'm so pro Eliaser Molina. And the reason why is because Eliaser Molina with other Puerto Ricans are actually building and rebuilding the coffee industry. And I'm going to show it real quick. Give me
Hello.
1 second. I'm here, bro tap. Can you hear me? If you guys can hear me, press one. Okay. As you guys can see, this is Eliaser Molina right now. He's saying, and I'm going to read it in Spanish. He said, que nunca nadie les diga que su sueño es imposible. En la vida, los grandes cambios toman tiempo. Primero se debe plantar una semilla, verla germinar, es solo el comienzo de ese sueño. El tiempo debe pasar y en el camino ocurrirán múltiples obstáculos los cuales debemos enfrentar. Eso nos hará fuerte y nos preparará para enfrentar la adversidad. Será necesario pasar por todo esto para que al final se pueda ver el fruto. Un fruto producto de aquella semilla que usted un día sembró y que a lo largo de su desarrollo maduró. Cuando ese momento llegue, usted mira hacia atrás y sonríe porque las lágrimas y el sudor que te acompañaron en el camino fueron necesarios para poder entender la importancia de lo que llamamos vida. Alguien dijo que Puerto Rico se distinguió por tener el mejor café del mundo. Esto se perdió en el camino, pero muy pronto volverá porque un día alguien decidió volver a plantar una semilla y devolver a su país el buen nombre, gracias a sus recursos naturales. ¿Cómo no amarla si es mi madre? ¿Cómo no protegerlos si fueron ellos los que me brindaron la felicidad? So you can see that Eliezer Molina is actually has been working alongside many people. I don't know if you guys have tried the Lareño coffee that's being made in Lares as a in hydroponics, of course. After Maria, to actually restore the coffee plantations that we used to have. And his coffee is going to be called, is in Maricao, Puerto Rico, if you guys want to visit, of course. Is in Hacienda Libertad. And this is his coffee. So, he has been doing this for a very long process and all the roadblocks that, the government has given him, but finally his coffee is coming. And like I said, people have to actually get in to know what's going on with Puerto Rico before making comments. And I want to say that to anybody that's listening. I don't think any Puerto Rican hates New Yorkers. In fact, we love you guys for taking the trip to come here and actually still carry on your culture. Now, my question is, if you guys want to get involved with what's happening on the ground in the island, there's no problem with that. But please do not let this propaganda get to you. Get the phone, start talking to actual Puerto Ricans on the ground and get to know their opinions, and then make the steps that you want to make to help us out. Don't go around, start doing crazy stuff like Lin Manuel. Don't follow his example. Be a better person. Be always a young Lord, never a Lin Manuel, please. Now, I'm going to add Ramon, Jose, and Rakim to actually discuss this. But before we do this, guys, you know that I go into intermission before we make any comments. So I'm going to be back in a few minutes. I'm going to put you all backstage. And like I said, this is something that's going to take some time. I'm not going to lie. We're going to have a very long discussion about this. And I hope, that you're watching us and you get the information that you need so that you don't go around, do these things, or spread misinformation. There's only so much we can take. Our island is all up for the grabs and it's being sold at the prices of rotten fish. So please Make your due diligence. You don't have to ask me precisely. I get it. If you think I'm full of shit, that's okay. Don't believe me because I can also lie. Just make sure that you come to people on the ground that will be affected by this and actually ask them questions. So like I said, no problem, bro tip. So definitely, like I said, people, make sure that you ask people in the ground for the actual questions, and that they actually answer to you, hey, this is what will benefit us. This is what's happening. This is what we're being exposed to, so that you guys can make the right decisions. You guys have the advantage of being here in the United States and can make movements, and we appreciate you for that. Now, like I said, let's bridge the gap. Let's start talking to each other. Okay. I'll be back in a few minutes. It's 4:07 where I'm at. I'll be back at 4:12. That's 7:12 in the Eastern Coast. So don't go anywhere. We will unpack this. We will talk more. And I have some interesting things to say when I come back. So stay tuned, guys. And like I said, let's have the discussion. Let's have the discussion. I'll see you guys in a few. And we are back. Thank you guys for waiting in the background. I'm gonna add Ramon, Jose, and Brotep. Thank you guys for being here. Before we start the exchange, I wanna remind you guys that the views and the statements of the guests do not necessarily represent those of the channel and or those of the panel members, as some comments may be offensive to select groups of people. Also, I want to remind you that by calling into the live show, you waive your rights to the use of your image and likeness for the purposes of the show. Without any further ado, I want to welcome Ramon, Jose, and Brotep. Thank you guys for being here. How are you, Jose, Ramon? How are you guys? I think you
Panel.
guys are.
And Ramon Rotep, is always a pleasure. Oh, okay. It's always a pleasure to hear with you, Rotep. I have enjoyed your video streams, particularly we've gone living the Viva Mocha. I do understand why you have to close the panel because unfortunately you have some mentally challenged people that try to rub your piece.
Yeah. I had to close the panels when it comes to this, and I think Brotep had to do it too.
Hey, Dennis, thanks for letting me on your panel. I was looking forward to hear your take on this. I haven't actually seen the movie, but I had seen some headlines about the kind of like the disagreements that some people have. Hey, how you doing, guys?
Good.
Don Jose,
Fine, thank
brother,
you.
what's going on?
I think Brotep
Okay.
had to step out a little bit. In a moment, he'll be back. But
Okay.
All right.
But definitely, yeah, I wanted to have you guys here because I value you guys' opinion, and I know this is a topic that you guys might want to have an opinion on and share with us. So definitely, yes.
Mhm.
Now, Jose, what's your take on what's going on with Lin Manuel Miranda and how he has created a pattern of always exploiting his Puerto Rican heritage for financial gain?
Well, it's I mean, to be perfectly honest, I do not know a great deal about it, but I think it's a shame that one would use our culture for his individual purposes. We do have a very rich culture. And one of the problems is that many of us who live in the mainland, we don't have a great deal of knowledge regarding our culture. And to be perfectly honest, it's only within the last couple of months that I try to learn more about it. So when you have an individual who's just using our culture for his own personal gain, I mean, if he's not a sellout, then who is?
Definitely. And you know what's crazy? And I'm gonna say put this out there, but if you look into his family heritage, he's a disgrace even to his ancestors because I believe he was his great uncle that was the founder of the Puerto Rican Pro Independence Party.
Interesting.
So it's very interesting that this is the turn that, his ancestor his legacy took like after he passed away. It's just what, two generations detached from him. So it's kind of sad to see this stuff happening, and the fact that, it's like I said, stay off of our affairs. Why he doesn't just concentrate on American affairs? Because obviously he can make money off of Puerto Rico. And that's why, even though a lot of people here think that, oh, when you guys come at Hispanistas, you guys are just making jokes and stuff. This is just YouTube. This is what Hispanistas do to our countries. So it's not just YouTube. This is real life.
Mm-hmm. I
Well,
agree. I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, go on, Don Jose.
And of course, the mentally challenged and the intellectually challenged is going to have their own twisted interpretation of the situation. I mean, they have to be the opposite. If you say that the sky is blue, they're going to say the sky is green.
Yeah, definitely. You know how it is, Jose.
I know. That's the reason why I posted a video on Instagram.
I'm about to show it. but definitely it's hilarious.
Mhm.
I'm just looking for it. Give me 1 second
Sure.
so that people can see it.
Uh,
It's hilarious. I can guarantee you that.
So
well, I
is it
glad.
kind of like making a joke about Lin Manuel?
No, 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 no.
Okay.
But
Well, I'm
I
just
will.
using. See, I'm using that video as
Okay.
analogy regarding the slow taps.
Let me know. This is the slow taps when we're telling them that we know their agenda.
This is Fredo. He is your average dramatic husky, and as he tries to escape the bathtub, he teaches me the lyrics to his anthem. He's pretty convinced that I must be bathing him in acid. And after he has given my floor a shower, he is equally convinced that I am trying to smother him with the towel. I am spraying him down today in our Quicker Slicker quick drying spray. And obviously, he was Alfredo. But Fredo was saving the best for last. He was hitting higher notes than Ariana Grande herself. I swear at some points he was screaming, "Help me" and "Mama." Or maybe he just thought he was trying out for American Idol. For me, the most impressive part was that he showed me that he could not only sing, but he could swim at the same time. And now that I am hearing impaired, I brush him out with this.
So that's literally how slow taps sound when told the truth. That's how they come at you, but that's a diversion tactic, if that makes sense. Because it's like I said, this people need to start becoming aware of the definitions of things. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like if you still want to join the Hispanistas knowing that this is what they do, then at least be genuine. I've always been a supporter of that. I'm not gonna tell you to not be a pro Hispanista and nothing like that, but own your shit. Because at least I'm pro independence, I'm pro Latino, and people know what my agenda is. So, like I said, it's crazy that you have Hispanistas saying, "No, I'm from the betterment of our people." No, you're from the betterment of self. This is what Hispanistas do. You do not see them working for the people because that has never been a Hispanic principle. A Latino principle is about the people. A Hispanic principle is what colonized our indigenous ancestry. So, like I said, it's very important to understand this topic so that we can know who the people we're dealing with in modern times, not 600 years ago. So, with that being said, I want to hear from Ramon and then Jose again. So, Ramon, what are your thoughts on Lin Manuel Miranda and his exploitation of Puerto Rico?
It is unfortunate. It is unfortunate because at first I did think that Lin Manuel's heart was in the right place when it came to all the things that he was doing, when it came to the debt that the inflated artificial debt that the island has been saddled with because of the constrictions of the Jones Act that needs to go away. And I thought that he was being sincere and he wanted some relief for the island. So that part about you were saying that he was supporting the junta. That part I didn't know. If he actually supported that, then that's unfortunate. Now, you mentioned something about Chapter 9. Unfortunately, because Puerto Rico is not a state, it can't file for Chapter 9 or any other type of
It can
chapter,
it
type
it
of.
can file because look, this is the thing. Pedro Pierluisi was in charge of it and he presented the proposal. However, if Congress approves Chapter 9 for us, then we can have Chapter 9. But instead of pushing for Chapter 9 to be approved as the only solution in Congress, they also proposed PROMESA.
Oh,
That was the
okay.
problem.
So,
So
yeah, they
that's
made, they
why.
made it easy. Right.
Yeah, because in Florida they can apply for it directly because they're a state. We need the approval of Congress. And because the Mirandas had their little hand in the Senate and the House, and Congress, because of course
Mhm.
they helped Schumer get elected. Um, through Schumer, actually, that had a huge part in the oversight board. We got denied the Chapter 9, and then the oversight board was implemented by President Obama. So it was really fucked up. It fucked over our people.
Okay, okay. No, because I knew that the island couldn't file for any type of chapter bankruptcy thing because it wasn't a state. It didn't have that right.
Yeah, on
But
our own we cannot.
Pierluisi, Pierluisi, if he had a chance to push for Chapter 9 and didn't push for that, and I don't know who came up with the stupid idea of the junta, which basically puts any power for things to be resolved in the hands of somebody, of some people that are not from the island, that don't understand, that are not familiar with the issues of the island and the people of the island and how things work. Yeah, we were sold out. The island was unfortunately sold out, and I thought, I really thought that Miranda was sincere, and I would have wanted for him to push for the more direct and the more real option, where the Chapter 9 resolution will have been a real it will have been a real solution. It will have been something that will help the island for real. But I don't know. One will have to seek out what was the agreement, something that was done behind the scenes with the Mirandas.
Yeah.
There might have been some kind of they might have struck a deal in which he was gonna get funding for his projects, and in return he had to push for PROMESA, uh,
Yes.
which will be unfortunate. That will be my guess. That will
Yeah,
be my guess.
wait, trust me, we have had the same guess.
Yeah,
Because it's the only rational explanation for
yeah,
what we're seeing right now. We're seeing the exploitation, and it's so crazy because let's not forget that we have had, and the reason why I always quote New Yorkers, I saw that Smoothie was like, oh, there's Puerto Ricans all over. I get that, but Puerto Ricans in Orlando and Kissimmee and Texas are different kinds of Puerto Ricans, and also they're more recent diaspora, so they still have strong ties to
oh yeah,
Puerto Rico rather than New York. We're talking about people that arrived almost 100 years ago. Well, 100 years ago, and have had
yeah.
several generations already. So that's why we make reference to the New Yorkers. And let's not forget that New Yorkers are more involved in politics than any other Puerto Rican diaspora in the United States. Therefore, they have a bigger impact on what happens with us. So, speaking on New Yorkers, also Lin Manuel Miranda is a New Yorican. This is why I said, please, 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 please get into conversations, not with me. I get it. I'm just one. With any other groups of Puerto Ricans, if you want to get involved into our betterment and our advancement in our politics, so that you can actually know what to support. Because, like I said, I think that Lin Manuel Miranda did this with malicious intent. Okay, let's just put that out there. It's not like he just, oops, I missed the point. Oh, they promised me that you guys were gonna get a cookie and you guys didn't. No, he knew exactly what he was promoting. There's no way you do
Yeah.
not know that you're promoting a group of people that are going to decide how our money is spent and are going to make cuts without the consent of voting polls or people electing these officials. We even have an Ukrainian lady that bankrupt Ukraine being the leader of the oversight board in Puerto Rico. So it's like I said,
Yeah, you're talking
fuck
about
Lehman.
Kelleher.
Fuck, no, no, no. But Natalie Yaresko. Natalie Yaresko is the
Ah,
leader
okay,
of the
Yaresk.
oversight board. She's an Ukrainian lady. If you look at her
Oh,
past in the Ukraine, she was let go because she bankrupted Ukraine.
Oh, okay. I thought that you were
And
talking about Kelleher, but she's Italian
no,
American. Yeah, I mean,
Kelleher is not. Kelleher founded the Flamboyant Foundation, and Lin Manuel Miranda keeps making donations to that foundation. So I wonder what's the connection there. I will have to do a
yeah.
more in depth, because Ramon. We usually scratch just the surface because these
Oh
topics are
yeah.
deep. They're
Yeah,
really, really
The,
deep.
these subjects, we can talk about it for like another 2-3 hours. If we were to get in depth, it will be a whole multi-part documentary series that could come out of it.
Of course. And
Yeah.
not only
So
that, it's insane that look at Blood Moon. Blood Moon, have you been here since the beginning? She's like, Lin is an entertainer. It is possible he has no idea about politics in Puerto Rico. Let me show you something. Let's see what's going on. So, because I think she wasn't here at the beginning of the stream.
Lin
So
Manuel is
she
an
probably
artist, yeah, which is something that I.
Lin Manuel knows what he's doing, and I'm gonna show you some proof. Um, hold on.
No, the thing is that probably Lin Manuel does know, but he made a choice that will benefit him.
Of course. Look,
That's not about the politics.
Blood Moon. This is Lin Manuel's father. Lin Manuel's father is. I'm gonna read it to you so that you can know what I'm talking about. Luis A. Miranda Jr. has almost 4 decades of experience as a leader in the public and private sectors. A native of Puerto Rico, Luis was director of field services and research at the National Action Council for Minorities in Engineering and held managerial positions at the Community Service Society in the NYC Department of Employment, the NYC Board of Education, and Aspira of New York. In the 1980s, he was a special advisor for the Hispanic Affairs to Mayor Edward I. Koch, and served as a director of Mayor's Office for Hispanic Affairs from 1987 to 1989. He was appointed to the board of NYC Health and Hospitals Corporations by Mayor Koch in 1989, served during the Dinkins administration, and in 1993 was appointed its chairman by Mayor Rudolph Giuliani. Under Luis' leaderships, the city's vast public hospital network saw marked improvements in quality of care and financial stability. In 1990, Luis became the founding president of the Hispanic Federation, one of the nation's leading Latino nonprofit organizations and dedicated to addressing the human services and health needs of the Hispanic community. As president, Luis became one of the New York City's leading voices for increased support into Latino nonprofits and a widely admired partner for corporate and private philanthropic leaders. Luis, a founding partner of the Miran Group, has consulted on a number of successful political campaigns. He was part of the team that managed Hillary Rodham Clinton, Charles Schumer, and Kristen Gillibrand's successful campaign for the U.S. Senate. In 2001 and 2005, he was one of the leaders of the Fernando Ferrer's historic majority campaigns, that's in Puerto Rico, and served as a lead consultant to many candidates to the New York City Council and the New York State Assembly. Leith was lead consultant in the election of Letitia James as public advocate, the first African American woman elected citywide. Louis' leadership extends beyond the world of public affairs. In 2000, he founded the Amber Charter School in East Harlem, one of the few charter schools in New York at the time to welcome unionized faculty. He also served on the board of directors of the Center of Latin America, Caribbean, and Latino Studies in the CUNY Graduate Center and campaigned for fiscal equity. Luis is currently the chairperson of the Broadway League's Latino Audience Development Program, Viva Broadway. He is a board member of the John Jay College Foundation, vice chair of the Northern Manhattan Arts Alliance, and a member of the advisory boards to Nielsen Ratings and Art Evolution Latina. Luis studied at the University of Puerto Rico and New York University. That is Lin Manuel's family's background. That's his father. He does know what he's doing. So yeah, I get it. You weren't here at the beginning, but they are deep into politics. He knows what he's doing. He just decided to sell us out.
I'm sure he's very close with the Cuomo.
Come again?
I'm sure that he's also very tight with the Cuomos
Yeah, of course. That's what I said. And it's like I
because
said,
that's New York. So
the more we sugarcoat this fuckery, it's like denying, no, these people are not doing all of this. These people are not getting involved in that. Okay, let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Okay, then why is he supporting Monsanto to come to
yeah,
Puerto
now
Rico?
Bayer. Yeah, now Bayer because I don't
Like,
know if they still use the
yeah, no,
Monsanto
it's
name
Bayer.
anymore.
It's Bayer. It's Bayer now. Why is he supporting that? Does he not know? Do you think he did not catch the news that those seeds are poisonous?
Yeah, they're sprayed with chemicals, and they spray chemicals around in the town. I think it's in Juncos where they're located
Yeah.
now, and they for whatever reason they spray that their shit around the town, and people are getting sick, and people are having respiratory problems. Like, okay, you're planting seeds. Why the fuck are you spraying chemicals on the people themselves? They're having
Yep.
to hide inside the houses so that the chemicals in the air don't get to them and make them sick. And like, what the hell is that all about?
Look at what Blood Moon said now. We all come to the same conclusion. She's like, they're probably paying him millions. Yes.
Yeah, he's getting something
That,
out of it. He's getting
yeah, of
a payoff.
course. Of
Yeah,
course.
he's getting a payoff.
Excuse me.
Go ahead, Jose.
So let me see if I can get this correctly. So they're spraying this type of seed in an area where people live, and by then spreading the seed, people can be harmed physically. Is that
Well,
correct?
that's a part of it. One part is the process that they use to grow these seeds they're gonna be exporting, but there is also, for whatever reason, I don't know what it is, for whatever reason, that same company, the Bayer that used to be called Monsanto, for some reason they go around in the communities that are around the factory or the complex or whatever the fuck they have established, and they spray in the air other chemicals up in the air. They're spraying people like they're spraying uh, uh, things that are growing up out of the ground. They spray them with pesticides. They're spraying the people apparently with fucking pesticides because people are getting sick, and there are people that are trying to get some answers when it comes to that, and local representatives are always stalling them and making excuses and talking about that it doesn't affect them or whatever, but they're spraying something out there. I think it's in Juncos. I remember seeing a program about it.
They're spraying all over, and it smells weird.
I'm sure it does.
It's because trust me, I've been there, and it smells hella weird. It
So,
smells like a synthetic guava.
excuse me, I don't mean to interrupt, but aren't there ways that you can deal with insects without using poisonous chemicals?
Come
I
again?
mean, isn't there a way that you can stop the insects, from coming to these plants without using poison? I mean, isn't there some sort of like biological friendly chemical or something to that effect that they can use to make sure that the insects don't kill these seeds?
There are ways, but in reality, I mean, I don't think they care about that, to be
Of
honest with
course.
you. I think they honestly just want to exploit our resources. I don't even think statehood will ever arrive to Puerto Rico. I believe that the only way statehood can arrive to Puerto Rico is if there's a major cleanse, but I highly doubt it because you have them now contaminating our waters, contaminating our soil so that we cannot eat or profit from our own soil, and killing the people and selling the natural resources like el yunque and stuff like that. So we're running out of these resources, and they're being shipped to the US. So we're getting even a worse deal than Hawaii right now. I don't know if
So,
that makes
so
sense.
basically, it's just a matter of getting as much as the mighty dollars as possible. Am I correct?
Can you repeat the question?
So, in other words, it's just a matter. So, the only concern is the mighty dollar. Never mind the fact that you're infecting these people or you're harming these people with this chemical substance.
Yeah, yeah, basically.
Yeah, I
When
just
is it
wanted to.
not? When is it not, sir?
Yeah. Now I see that Rakim wanted to say something. Rakim, welcome to the platform. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well, Denise. Thank you for allowing me to come on your platform once again. Hello to Ramon, Jose, and Brotep. How's
Good evening,
everybody
What's going
doing
on,
Rakim.
today?
It's good
Rakim?
to hear from you.
It's good to hear from you too, Jose. Yeah, I had to run and take care of something, so I had to back out of the panel earlier.
Okay.
But yeah, I agree with what Jose was saying. It's always been about the almighty dollar, especially with a company like Monsanto. Their history here in the States are very, very infamous. They've put a lot of farmers out of business. They've pretty much double crossed a lot of farmers that have been in contract with them as well. Where if you're not, even if you decide that you don't want to grow Monsanto seeds anymore, they make it very difficult for you to be able to even grow your own seeds within your farmland. And also with what Denise was saying earlier, it's very disappointing to hear Louis Miranda to hear that he sided with the people that wants to make $4 an hour. Only want to give $4 an hour to people under 25 years old. I think that's very, very disappointing to hear that, especially, judged from the fact that he said he was looking to help the island. With help like that, I think you can keep that.
Yeah, right. Sorry for
No,
the.
he like I said, this is something that I was saying before. Uh let's not forget Lin Manuel Miranda is pro Hispanidad. So this is like I was saying before, this is what when you hear Hispanos, this is what they mean. They want to embrace colonization and profit from it. And that's this is I think this is the best explanation for the people that actually watches us constantly to understand what being pro Hispano and pro Latino mean. Pro Latino means to profit in a very collective way. Hispano is more for the betterment of self and in the hopes that everybody focus on themselves and profit together. But it's a competition of who does it first and who does it better and exploits the rest of the people. So, because obviously its origins come from colonization.
Mm,
So, this is what I say to the circus that constantly want to say, no, we are pro the people, we are pro this. This is an Hispanista. Lin Manuel Miranda and his father are both Hispanistas. Therefore, this is what they do. Eliaser Molina is pro Latino. And you guys saw what he did. He's exposing himself for 14 years in prison, to 14
mhm.
years in prison just to preserve the beach for the future generations. And also preserve the carey turtles so that our future generations can get to know them. So with that being said, this is what's going on with Puerto Rico. It's a very sad situation. We're winning on one side, losing on a major one. And what's scary is that we don't know what's happening in the future. That's what's scary. So, with that being said, guys, I'm gonna start wrapping this up. If you guys have not, uh, have anything else to add, if you have something else that you want to share regarding this topic, let me know. This is the time, and then we'll start wrapping this up.
Speaking about Hispanidad, I've watched some of their streams, and the way they go at it, it's like intellectually speaking, it's like they're performing Palacio on Spain. Please forgive the vulgarness.
Yeah, yeah, it's Go ahead, Ramon. I thought you wanted to say something.
No, yeah, I mean to follow what Don Jose was saying is like, okay, there is the mentality that we have already talked about before. It's kind of like what they're talking about. Maybe their version of Hispanista is kind of reminiscing about the Spanish Empire, the dead, very dead Spanish Empire that is not gonna come back, and they feel like if they talk about it long enough, it's gonna make a comeback. We already talked about why that shit is not gonna happen again. Them being part of NATO, them being part of the European Union, that's not gonna happen. That is not gonna be the empire that it was at one time. Because even when they were an empire, there were other empires that were more than willing to challenge them. So they are already in a position where they can't just break away from the rest of Europe and do whatever the hell they want. Even if there are other European countries that don't feel like they really are as European as them, because there is such a thing. It's a bit of a hierarchy. Something that I have heard is that the French think that there are French that think that Europe ends at the border with Spain. It's not including Spain. There may be a reason for it, because they don't see Spain as the same as the rest of Europe. So it's not gonna become an empire again. So they need to stop dreaming with that.
Definitely, definitely. So, guys, I'm gonna start wrapping this up. I'm going to start with Rakim because he barely had any time to talk. So, Rakim, any final thoughts on today's topic? Oops, Lin Manuel did it again.
Yeah, my final thoughts just wanted to be is that what you were saying earlier in the stream, Denise, all you have to do is follow the money and you'll see that people's words don't add up with their actions. And sometimes you have to be very careful because people, the people that are that the top elite use the most will be people that are camouflaged in your uniform. So you will have people that will say things like, "Oh, I'm for the betterment of the islands, and I want to come back and help contribute." And those would be the same ones that are turning around and selling you out to the elite to have your resources tapped into, to pollute the water, to have a company like Monsanto, which is a terrible company, to come in there and pretty much extort the people and plant their seeds and destroy the soil and various things like that. So, you just have to be very careful. And some people, like you said, there's some people out there that just they they say that they're for the island, but they don't really care. They just for their own profit and their own self gain. And whatever happens to the other people that are, trying to survive, that are trying to make it, workers and everything, farmers, they'll be an afterthought. So we just have to be very cautious when we're dealing with people like this.
Yeah,
That's all I have
definitely,
to say.
because they want to push their mentality of romanticizing the American empire as our oppressor and as daddy, on the rest of us, not knowing that we know who we are and we're very proud of being who we are, even if we're smaller, even if we are not so huge, and we enjoy our way of life. We're more simplistic. So thank you, Rakim, for your final thoughts. I'm gonna put you backstage. Now, Blotep, I don't know if he's still back, so let's go to Ramon and then Jose.
Um. Okay. Really quick. Again, the whole thing. One thing that I want to make clear: if there are any New Yorkers or Philly-ricans or Chica-ricans or Floricans, I'm making terms up. I'm
All the
making them up.
Ricans.
Yeah, all the Ricans in the United States. Like, if any of you guys are listening to this, I mean, we islanders, we don't hate you guys. We don't hate you. If anything, we need for us to have an understanding. Uh, we islanders, for the most part, we don't really care if you were not taught Spanish at home. We're not really that hung up on it. We don't blame you for it. If you were not taught, you were not taught. If you have a genuine interest on learning about what's going on the island, hey, come to us, ask us.
Yeah.
We'll be more than happy to help you out, bring up your knowledge. So we're criticizing Lin Manuel, but it's for the specific reasons that have to do with Lin Manuel himself.
Yeah.
This is not an attack on the
community.
diaspora.
Yeah.
Yeah, this isn't an attack on them. We understand that Lin Manuel is kind of like part of a very tiny minority of people that are celebrities, and sometimes they have to compromise on their views, on when it comes to their integrity and what they believe in. So this isn't an attack on them. This is an issue specifically with Lin Manuel Miranda, and I will exhort other diasporans to kind of like look up the situation, look up info when it comes to Lin Manuel and us, the rest of the islanders and diaspora, so we can have an understanding. I say it and I say it again. I could never hate you as an islander. I will never forget how diasporans mobilized when Maria struck the island. That's including the likes of Jennifer Lopez and Mark Anthony, that they got in Governor Cuomo's office and mobilized them to help the island. I remember the press conferences. We don't forget that. We're aware of that. So any criticism, any disagreement, hey, it's with love. We don't hate you. So we can't be divided. And one last thing, free Eliaser Molina. They're trying to make him a political prisoner. They're trying to make him an example. Free Eliaser Molina. The man is doing the right thing. He set foot on a construction site. Okay, fine. That doesn't merit 14 years in prison. Hell no. They're trying to make him an example. This is a case of it being politicized. They're trying to make him a political prisoner, and that's against the law. That's against federal law, to my understanding. So free Eliaser Molina. He did nothing wrong. Stepping on a construction site should not get you 14 years in prison.
Definitely, especially when that construction site is of public domain. So thank you, Ramon, for your input on this. Now, Jose, what's your last thoughts on today's topic?
Well, first of all, I just want to apologize for not coming earlier. I was having some technical difficulties with my audio and video feed.
No problem.
I just want to encourage, as a Nuyorican, I just want to encourage all the Nuyorians that are listening or viewing this video to try and get involved in these issues. I mean, there are various organizations that represent us that they can educate you as far as what are the issues that's affecting Puerto Rico, because if it's affecting Puerto Rico, it's going to affect us in the mainline. I just want to give a shout out to all the fathers, because Sunday is Father's Day. And not only that, all the single mothers, because they do the role of mother and father. Again, Denise, thank you for allowing me to be a part of this closed panel. And as always, you give solid information. And I just want to say to the, in case there's any naysayers that have some living brain cells left, before you criticize Denise, at least listen to what she's saying and then do your due diligence before you open your mouth and say some stupid remarks.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Jose. And I always enjoy having you here. So thank you very much for joining the stream and sharing your knowledge, wisdom, and your humor with me and everybody watching. So
well, the fact of the matter is, we need to laugh once in a while.
Yeah.
Even in the midst of tragedy, because even if we can laugh for a little bit, that means we're still alive. And the fact of the matter is, you are performing a big service. And I just want to like encourage everyone, please hit the like button. Please subscribe to her channel, even though you may not be able to participate in the video stream. You can still learn, and you still can get a great deal of knowledge from Denise.
Definitely. Thank you, Jose, very much. I will see you on my next stream. Thank you for your words. And yes, to everybody, is there something else you wanted to say?
Now, as always, please be safe out there, because there are some mentally challenged people that don't mean us well. And the fact of the matter is, if we're not careful, their mental illness might inflict us.
Definitely. So thank you very much, Jose, for bringing that up. I'll
Yes,
put you backstage. So if
please
you
be
want to
safe.
have, yeah, definitely. Thank you so much. Now, I don't know if Brotep is still on. Brotep, if you're on, shoot me a sign. If not, I'll put you backstage. Okay, I think Brotep it's not here. So I will continue with my final thoughts. Listen, guys, and I'm gonna go on a little semi rant. I agree with Ramon. We don't have anything against our Rican diaspora. My thing is, you have to come to a realization that regardless of if you speak Chinese or Spanish, we have the same background. Okay, we come from the same place, and I know there has been a lot of differences among our communities for a long time. It's almost as if we're two different communities at this point. I get that. Now, that doesn't mean we hate each other. I highly doubt you hate us, and we don't hate you. But like I said before, I don't want to interfere with the Rican diaspora's issues, because I have to first understand the Rican diaspora before I can advocate for what they need. Now, the same thing, I want you guys to extend the same courtesy to us. Please don't interfere if you don't want to reach out to us. Just send us messages of encouragement and we'll do the work, and it's all good. But always be a young lord, never a Lin Manuel, because the price that we pay for it, you don't live the consequences. We do. And it's too high. Like I said, Puerto Rico is being dismantled. I don't know how many of you guys had the opportunity to go to Puerto Rico in the 90s, early 2000s, but it was a complete different island than it is today. Today, Puerto Rico is in shambles, and we're working very hard to rebuild it. And people like Lin Manuel are just setting us back. He put in place a very disgusting dictatorship on top of us. And look at what happened right after Typhoon Maria. And look at how we are right now when with this oversight board that we tell them, yo, there's 4,000 people without a roof. And they're like, you guys can afford that. We can't do, no can do. Fuck y'all. This is what people like Lin Manuel does. And I also want to say that it's okay if you, for your own personal agenda here in the US, want to join the Hispanistas. Do not try to bring this mentality to our island or to push it upon us or criticize us because we don't embrace that shit. Because this is what Puerto Rican Hispanistas are doing. Nothing good for us. We're not in a position to gamble with our future because we're still colonized. And no, it's not romantic, it's not funny, it's not cute, it's not saddy, it's nothing like that. So, like I said, it's not a pretty thing. It's not a pretty thing, it's not a pretty sight. And shout out to Blood Moon for the donation. Um, Thank you very much, Blood Moon. To be honest with you, like I said, I don't know. I'm not going to impose on you, and any Puerto Rican that's from the island is going to impose on you what to think here for the betterment of yourself in the United States. However, when it comes to us, like Ramon said, ask us, talk to us, interview us before you say, "Hey, this is what's better for Puerto Rico," because you picked it up from Google. Google is not real life. We just saw somebody saying, oh, this bank did not destroy Puerto Rico. And I just show you, it even dismantled a Puerto Rican millionaire boxer that saved his whole money, his whole career, and Banco Popular stripped him of his wealth. So definitely, like I said, always talk to people on the ground. Don't jump to conclusions. Make sure that you're well informed before you take a step like Lin Manuel Miranda just did. Obviously, the only um, excuse that he will say is like, "Oh, I didn't knew," but in reality, he did knew. Look at the stuff that's happening in Puerto Rico. This is how our coastlines are looking because of the constructions like the one Eliaser Molina just got fed up and started stopping. This is how they will look. If he would allow it to happen, this is how that construction would look in 5 years because of the coastline eroding the whole thing. And then all that cement, guess where it lands? In our beach, in our natural resources. Today, we just lost another manatee. And even though, yeah, I don't care too much for the manatee, they do deserve to live. They do deserve to live and stay in their habitat. We don't have the right to kill them. But then a gringo was in a jet ski and decided to run him over. Now, instead of 300 manatees, we're down to 299, and they're still in the brink of extinction. This is what's happening to Puerto Rico. This is a perfect picture of how decaying our situation is. No, Blood Moon, a lot of people had to be put in another facility to actually live in a safer place because they can no longer live in their houses they purchased. So that's another loss that people can't afford because who will refund you the price of your home? It's really sad. Like I said, this is what we're trying to stop. This is not a joke. It's not something like I show even other places of Latin America. It's not a joke. This is real life for us. Talk to us, bridge the gap. I'm going to start advocating for that, even if I have to bring myself here for 1 extra day or 2 extra days. We're going to start talking to people on the ground. We're going to start bridging the gaps between the diasporas and us because we need to stop this whole thing. I see Olabor is here. I'm going to catch her last thoughts. Olabor, how are you, girl? It's been a while. Is she here? I don't know. If not, I'll just put her in the
I had to
backstage.
unmute. I'm
Oh, you're
sorry.
here.
I'm
Okay.
here.
How are you, girl?
I'm doing good. I know it's been a while, but I've been listening. Um, I think that they're pretty much following the same guidelines that they've learned from all of the other, colonist countries, and selling out the people, and we have more to lose. And it's
Yeah.
just really unfortunate when your own people do it to you.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you have any final thoughts before I close out this
I
show?
I think that you're right. We do need to step in and stay on top of it because our voices, believe it or not, have a lot of pull because you can't vote in elections when you're in Puerto Rico. Is that correct?
Yeah, we vote for the primaries, but we cannot vote for the president.
Right, but you can vote here.
Yes,
So the people that are on the ground can make those points and voices heard. And I also wanted to tell you that I got my money order to send for the foundation in LA for the children that are being held in the detention centers. So I wanted to
oh,
just
that's
yeah, I
amazing.
got my money order. So I wanted to just remind everyone about that. If you go back like
Definitely.
a couple streams back, you can find the information, and you can send any amount, and it goes towards the children that are being held in those detention centers.
I'm
And
putting it down below. So if you guys want to donate, even if it's $1 to the Migrant Children Support Fund, definitely, yeah, make sure you send your check. They will be there until August 12th. So make sure, you still have time to help them out. Even if it's with $5, it doesn't matter. It's a little something. So definitely thank you, Olivor,
you're
for
welcome.
actually making that contribution.
Thank you, Denise.
Um,
Thank you for informing us about everything.
No, definitely, definitely. Anything that I can come across in our community, I will definitely I see that Brotep is back with his final thoughts. Brotep, and all aboard. You guys have your final thoughts on today's topic. The floor is yours.
Yeah. I wasn't here for a lot of this. I had to go out hunting for food, like a hunter gatherer. But the other topics with the most important one to me is Lin Manuel Miranda. For me personally, which is we don't know what these people are doing. All we know is what they present, what they put forward in their little media enclaves, right? So we didn't know that he was doing all this stuff behind there. He didn't leave anything for anyone else to do. Like in terms of like bad people, he's doing all of it. He didn't leave anything for other bad people to do. He's screwing over the students, screwing over the residents, screwing over the state, screwing over the he's
But
contributing to
Brotep,
the culture of corruption
but
in the
Brotep,
country. Yeah,
he's an Hispanista. He is him and his father. This is what
yeah,
Hispanistas do.
yeah.
Are you
Well, you know that.
surprised?
Hey, listen, I don't even know about all that. All I know is he's being selfish. Len, listen, Len, you should leave something for someone else to do. Like he did all of it. He ain't leave anything for any other bad person to do. And then you cap it all off. The cherry on top. He's bringing in Monsanto. What the fuck? he
The
he literally
sherry,
he
the
literally didn't leave
sherry.
anything else for anyone else to do.
Look, the sherry on top of this Chet Sunday.
Hmm.
Now, Ramon, thank you for the donation. I appreciate that. Now, guys, let's do final thoughts. I'm gonna let you talk, Brotep. I'm not gonna interrupt you. And then Olabora her final thoughts.
No, I mean that's pretty much the gist of it. I would like to add though that it kind of begins with you, the listener. If you're listening right now, it's on you. Don't just come here and listen to what Denise has to say and then feel that you've accomplished something, which you did accomplish something by coming here. That's true. But the other half of it is what can you do? Right? No matter how small the step is, just take that step, do something, right? Because if you don't do anything, it doesn't go anywhere. If you don't push, the cart, you stay in the same place. So that's really my 2 cents into that. That you have to do something. All right, that's me.
Definitely, definitely. Thank you, Brotep. I also would like to say Olabora,
My final thoughts were again about voting. We have we vote not just every 4 years. We vote every two. And if you I guess if we utilize the numbers, because we're the fastest growing group in America, and if we vote as a conglomerate, if we vote as a block, um, we can definitely make these changes and hold these politicians accountable, because they don't do anything in Puerto Rico without the United States approval, So I think holding them accountable and also just keeping our ears to the ground um, is something that we're gonna just have to keep doing in order to get them out of power.
definitely, definitely. I agree with you 100%. So thank you, Olabor. I'm gonna also put you backstage. Don't go anywhere. Well, guys, this has been a very intense episode. I'm just scratching the surface. I can guarantee you that there's more to unpack. I will look for other things to actually come here. I will follow the development on this story and actually try to bring more opinions of other people on the ground regarding Lin Manuel Miranda and the Mirandas as a whole. But I will focus on bringing you the story behind his relative that founded the Pro Independence Party, which is something that I think he forgot, or I don't know. I really do not know. But to be honest with you, it's been a pleasure to have you guys here today. I know I've been a little bit absent. I was absent Monday. You guys know, we had a loss in the family of my fiance, and it's been a little, kind of wonky. We're still trying to manage a few details for, her resting procedures and stuff like that. So, like I said, don't take us out of your prayers and your best wishes. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate the support. Like I said, thank you, Ramon and Blood Moon. Shout out to you guys for the support. And also, Rakim, you guys always support me with your donations. So thank you very much for that. Now I'm not sure if I will pop up during this weekend. I also know it's Father's Day, and you guys know I did a special for Mother's Day, and I would love to do a Father's Day special now that I feel a little bit better. Now I will let you guys know probably on another stream, or it's just pop on Sunday. So make sure you're here, in the morning of Sunday. If you are in the West, if you're in the East, probably around noon, I'll be here. So, like I said, make sure you tune in. Let's have some fun. And let's not forget that even though many things can happen, we're still. Yeah, that's right. We're still going to the road. During this summer, we're going to film the first season of Latin Planning on the Road, where we will reach out to people on the ground. We will explore Latino businesses and what they're doing, their paths, their struggle, their mentality, their opinions, everything related to Latinos in businesses. So stay tuned for that during this summer. And also, let's not forget. I have partnered up with my good friend All Aboard, and we are working into bringing to you the amazing show, No Bullshit. This is something that we will air several times during the week with different and more relaxed topics that have nothing to do with politics and business. So, if you enjoy our opinions on these topics, trust me, you will love our opinions on other topics, and it will be a complete different channel. So, stay tuned for more information on those two things. Like I said, thank you guys very much for all of your support. Thank you guys so much for always showing some love, coming here, having fun, making jokes, trolling, whatever it's bringing here. And we will continue to bring you guys all the information in Latin America or the diasporas and what's affecting us. And like I said, the weekend is about to come here tomorrow. You guys know I don't do a show, but the weekend is about to come here. Make sure you have a productive weekend, relax, but also work on those projects that you have put up for so much. I believe in you, but it's more important that you believe in you. Without any further ado, I want to thank you guys. This has been Denise Gonzalez on another episode of Latin Explaining. See you guys next week.